Principled Ways of Working, Peer Support in Sussex. This video explores the partnership work undertaken by a group of statutory and voluntary organisations in Sussex to develop approaches to peer support and strengthen learning across sectors.
I was able to use some small resources to organise a conference with the National Survivor User Network, and the conference was called The Principled Ways of Working.
We've heard a lot about equality and power and respect, authenticity, mutuality. None of these words will be new to you. Control, ownership.
It was agreed at the end of the conference that these themes would be taken forward and they would form the foundation of developing a peer support charter.
I think the charter is a very, very good idea. So I think that learning and coming together to share, again, that without actually getting the fund to be able to do what we do, we still do what we do, and it's good to share that within the charter and the group.
We've got this lovely poster with what are our principles: trust, diversity, equality, solidarity, empathy, commonality, self-determination, mutual benefit, and hope. And it's always good to go back to those things. Am I doing this?
And if you go to, different places, say wards or different organisations, you'll see that poster, and people with lived experience can go to that poster and go, look, this is what I want, please.
The project grew because it emerged as we talked about it. It was no good having a charter on its own. You can use great words, but sometimes they mean such polar opposite things to various people that it doesn't make sense in the way that you intended it to.
And I think our organisation's grown by revisiting the basics of what it is to work in partnership with organisations that are very tiny through to fairly large third sector organisations. I think we've benefited from that, and we've benefited from really defining what peer support is and understanding that you might want a different type of peer support in different situations.
The main reason we set up Recovery Partners was because after we'd been trained in peer support, we asked Sussex Partnership if they were ever going to employ anyone to do peer support, and they said no. Things have changed. So we said, okay, we'll set up on our own now. But it took a while before Sussex Partnership, managed to make the changes. I'm delighted they have made the changes, but it happens slowly in a big organisation. Small organisations could do it quicker.
Although we've got a long way to go in larger organisations to get this right, it's really powerful to be held to account and to be able to learn from the peer-led organisations and the models and the routes that this has come from, but also recognising that the amazing peer leadership that we have within the NHS. So actually we might be an NHS provider, but that doesn't mean we haven't got amazing people with their really wonderful lived experience who are leading this. They're just doing it from within our organisation.
Some of the challenges were around inequalities. What we want to see for peer support was sometimes really difficult and really quite distressing for some people to think that they might not be able to realise that as an organisation. So again, the difference between the reality and the rhetoric. And I think the tensions between different providers, between the trust and the voluntary sector, between different individuals and professionals. So the challenge was to hold those tensions, but also address them, talk about them, and process them.
People want their peer support to be tailored to their needs. So if you're a person from a black and minority ethnic community, you might want to work with somebody from that community, or you might not. You might want to work with somebody who's perhaps got similar interests to you or a similar mental health experience to you.
So the only way that we can meet the diversity of our population needs is to have diversity of peer support. It makes sense.
My hopes for the future are that we have a really good supported peer workforce. I'm very much driven into my next stage of my work with the Healthcare Partnership, absolutely using the peer support charter and the principled ways of working and 4PIs. That's absolutely guiding my vision as I take this into the system.
having had the money to do that piece of work for West Sussex, we now need to roll it out properly in Brighton and Hove and East Sussex.
We also want to widen the sign up of the Charter as well, so make more people aware of it, that help them use it in a way where it's just an intrinsic part of their working.
You can find out more about the principles of Peer Support Charter at ensign.org.uk/peer-support-charter.